And we are live, guys. I know I had said 9:30, but we decided to go ahead and fire it out since we're both here. So, what you getting into tonight, Clive?
Well, here pretty soon my bed, but I'm just enjoying a nice evening at home and just enjoying some quality watches.
Nice.
And earlier some substandard. Well, it's not really watch content anyway. So I was noticing Bruce Williams, his video,
Mm-hmm.
and of course he's talking about getting the Vacheron. Oh, hey, what, you want
Hey,
Armin
man.
to? You want him in to come on,
Yeah, we
on
can.
with us?
Yeah, if he wants to, I'll go ahead and copy the link here and put it down there. If anybody wants to join in.
Nice.
What's going on, Orange Hand? How you doing, buddy? But what were you saying though?
Well, I noticed he was saying, "I got my Grail. It's the Vacheron Constantin Overseas."
Mm-hmm.
Mine, mine have
That's
the
my
lowly.
girl also. The same exact one as my girl.
Well, do you remember not too long ago when the consensus was, the conventional wisdom was, oh, it's a nice watch. It really is. But God, you're going to get killed on retail. You're going to get killed on resale.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't hold its value. You should probably just pass it up. Remember those days?
Yeah, it's probably not that way now, is it?
No. Especially the blue dial. And someone's telling me that. And there's, and basically, and they're hard to get from the AD now.
Mm-hmm.
If you get them on the secondary market,
I think he said he had to wait about a month. I think he said, which isn't that bad, really.
that's not horrible. But if you don't want to wait, a month, or you don't have any sort of kudos with your AD, if you get them the secondary, they're selling for above MSRP on the secondary market.
What are they selling for now?
I'll take a look.
But because they retail for what, 20,000 even, I think.
Yep, I can remember your friend. He could have got me like one for like maybe 16.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Oh yeah, I was
thinking probably not now.
No.
Because I remember you were looking at one a while back, weren't you?
Yep. And much to my, well, of course, I went back later and I got a first generation. So I'm still good. But
which I think though yours is what, the 36, 37 millimeter?
37, yeah.
Okay, I feel like those are like the underrated, like they're kind of the good buys right now. I have a feeling those are going to be the next ones to go up.
Yeah, and especially just a three-hander. It's just it's cream dial. Love the pattern work on the dial, and I'm just for a pretty watch face.
Yeah, they're definitely a good buy right now. I don't know how they'll be in about 5 years from now. Like I said, I have a feeling those are kind of a sleeper buy right now.
Right. Now, there are problems with it because, the bracelet, admittedly, let's be honest, is not the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I'll put it. It's like if you get like a lower tiered Grand Seiko bracelet, that's what it makes me think of.
Okay. I've honestly never really held Grand Seiko yet. Not yet, anyways.
Well, like I said, someone sent me, my friend from the left coast sent me one, and keep in mind, 1 second, sorry. It was like a small baby gets SBGW, like 235. So, and it's like low, it's like entry level for that sort of thing. Manual wind, but the bracelet was a little substantial. If you want to compare it to Rolex, is the bracelet is adequate but not stunning.
Okay.
But considering the price, the watch struck me as really, really nice, especially for entry level.
Now, do you? I got a question for you. I've been wondering about this. Do you think that Grand Seiko is trying to fill into Rolex's shoes where they used to be, like where you can go and get a nice, decent luxury watch, you can actually get it from the AD, But of course, you're probably going to still have to pay retail from the 80. I don't know if they give discounts or not. But you think they're trying to fill in the Rolex's shoes where they used to be, where you can actually just walk into the 80 and go and buy one?
Yep. Yeah. And I think they're stupid for not. Yeah. That's what everyone's trying to do. I'd even say Tudor is probably where Rolex was 20 years ago.
Where you can actually just walk into the 80 and get one, right?
Right. Some of them you might wait a couple of months, but.
Yeah.
But.
Orange Hand has a question. He says, are there any unloved watches anymore besides girl size Patek?
Yeah, I think
everybody brings up that girl size too. I mean, we've spoke about this. I don't think 36 is a girl size. Like back in the day, that used to be a normal size. It's just like a thing in the mind, I think.
Well, okay, but we're doing that to screw with. Yeah, I completely disagree with that unless you're using that to screw with Archie. Under those circumstances, yes. Any other circumstance, no. Like for instance, I've got a lot of people kind of chiming in and reporting back to me that they're going in, like especially this last month or two, they're going in for the this last month they're going in for the new OPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
41s are hard to come by, but there's 36s out there, and there's a lot of people reporting back saying, the 36 is fine.
And I wonder if Rolex won't sell a lot more Datejust now, because that'll be all that's available.
Possibly. Well, I don't even think the steel Datejust. I don't think there's a lot of anything unless we're talking precious metal. And Cellini.
This is true. I actually kind of like the Cellini. I never thought I would.
Yeah, but because.
What's going on, Lexter? How you doing, bud?
Yeah. Now, also, man, if you want to join us, you're welcome to.
Yeah, put the copy and paste the stream thing there if anybody wants to join us. And then Lexter, Orange Hand, anybody. But Amin is saying that even some Datejusts are hard to find now.
Yep. And let me. No, I got rid of the avatar. I got rid of my Datejust avatar. So I've got like the Datejust 41 with Steel Jubilee, white gold fluted bezel, and blue Romans. And they just released that one. That combination just came out in 2019. Believe it or not, and
nice.
They've even become allocated pieces.
Now, do you think I should jump on that offer that I was given for the Speedmaster that we had talked about, or do you think I should still pass on that one?
And that was an older Datejust, right?
Yes. Completely. And I don't think it was correct because he said it was the 60s. I think it might have. I'm sure it was legit because of who it was, but I think it might have been a Franken Datejust because I think he said it was the 60s, but it had the Swiss T on the dial, which I think I watched somebody else's video where that was not correct for the 60s. I think that's from the 70s, right?
Well, it also depends. Now, keep in mind, mine, let's see, mine is T Swiss T, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 17013, and that's from 99. So,
and he just had it serviced, he said, too.
Yep. So I wouldn't be surprised. It could have been serviced like 20 years ago.
Yeah. And you think they might have messed with the dial maybe or something like that then?
Oh, yeah. Quite frankly, yeah. Quite likely. Because keep in mind, people had a different mindset when it came to watches.
Mm-hmm. Because like I said, I'm not questioning the legitimacy because of who it was. I know he's legit. He's a legit collector. So I know he wasn't trying to pass anything on. You know what I mean? It's just I wasn't sure if I should go with that deal or not, Yeah.
Hey, Rick, get off your watches. It's not good for them.
What's going on, Rick? Thanks for. I just saw where you shared my video. Thanks, man. He's sharing the live stream on his community.
He shared a lot of stuff on Fist, and it's just like every day my tongue. I mean, it's just. I look at his posts on Fist, and it's like someone waving a steak in front of a Doberman.
Yeah.
That thing looks so good.
Yeah, he's got a killer collection.
Yeah, actually, and I think he's a really nice guy too. Because he's real
cool.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and for someone to have a really nice collection, for other collectors not to hate their guts, that's a lot for the person.
Yeah, it tells you don't always, there's not always the snobbery from like higher end areas,
It's just like even Rick's.
Orange Chan's got a question.
Okay.
Yeah, Orange Chan's got a question. Is $12,000 too much to spend on a cartoon character watch?
Okay, you're talking about the silver Snoopy.
And there's Lexter joining us. What's going on, Lexter?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good.
Am I on the stream? Yeah, there we go. Yep. There's the watch. Okay.
Yep, I just saw you on there, man.
That's the G-Shock, but my little Apple Mac Mini is like it doesn't really handle video very well.
No.
But that's what I go for. I go for the round G-Shock. I can't do the square.
We're trying to convince Rick to get into G-Shocks too.
I think he will. Like I say, at the back of every model they have a module number. Just you can download the PDF and look through it. But this is like the mid-tier. It's got a sapphire crystal, and it's got the dual time. If you look, the bottom dial is London, and then that's Las Vegas time. And you can see in the shine, like about 1 o'clock, there's that shine there. That's the solar panels.
Okay. Now, is this the same one they just made? Rob just did a video on. They have like a chameleon colored one. That's like $1,000. Is this the same model?
That one I don't know. I mean, I buy and then I try not to watch too many reviews because then I get the bug. It's like I don't want to.
Yeah.
But this is like a good mirror too. This I paid about $750 for this one.
Okay. That's not bad. Hey, Average Joe Watch Reviews. What's going on, buddy? But sorry, Clyve. What were you saying about the cartoon character watch?
Oh, the silver Snoopy. It's a nice watch, and for once they're not saying it's a limited edition, because I think even Omega's got the point of that we're sick to death of limited editions. But it's going to be.
Yeah, hey, man, how's it going, bro?
Hey, guys, good. Hey, thanks for the invite.
So I'm in what? Okay, sorry. I'm used to. Sorry, keep in mind where I'm used for negligent hosts that get up and go to the bathroom for 30 minutes. So it's hard.
I hear you. What's going on, man? What you wearing?
Not too much. I'm wearing a Ulysse Nardin.
Okay, nice.
Kind of old one.
Nice.
So you guys talking about the Snoopy?
Yeah, Clyde was just talking about it.
Looks great. I think they're gonna sell a whole lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
Crap.
I definitely like the looks of it.
Who's the fourth person on?
Lexter Dexter.
Nice.
Little technical issues, but we'll get it back up here.
But you said you don't think that's too much, though, Clyve, for a Snoopy?
Well, okay. I'm trying to decide also, is on the back, is that really cool badassery, or is it a gimmick? Because I'm undecided. I could almost go either way. Not like Mark.
What Watch Doctor saying looks great, feels great. The public can get a hold of a Snoopy. Which, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool that they're actually letting collectors get their hands on one if they can. It's not going to be like a super hard to get a hold of one, I don't think.
But it's only going through the Rolex boutique, so they're kind of screwing over their ADs.
Yeah.
The Omega? Yeah. Are you sure about that, Clyve? Because I saw one non-boutique AD talking about how he's got a lot of people calling him for it.
Mm-hmm. I think I may have read that on Houdinki.
I think I heard that too. That was only being sold through the Omega boutiques. That it might just be hearsay too, but I'm pretty sure I heard that as well.
Watch Doctor would know. Rick saying boutique only.
Okay, Jeb is saying Google said it was 9.6K. Sorry, man, what were you saying?
Watch Doctor saying ADs after boutiques. So boutiques first.
Okay. And then Rick is saying he believes it was boutique only. And then, like you said, Watch Doctor said boutiques, and then 80s after. So, but it might be sold out though by the time the 80s are able to even think about getting their hands on it too.
It's not limited. So
how many are they making?
We don't. It's not limited. It's not a limited edition. So okay. You know, it's basically up to Omega when they want to stop making and selling them. They could make them and sell them for years, or they could stop after a short while.
Okay.
I'm seeing a ton of people wanting them, you know, like a ton of people wanting them. So
yeah,
I don't think the at least from that, you know, small sampling in the forums, it doesn't seem like the price is going to stop them from selling really well.
Orange Hand said he prefers the animated scenes Blancpain used to put on their casebacks years ago, adult themes. I think Ulysses Nardin kind of does that on their actual watches now, don't they? And there are one or two of them. I think so. That they have that.
They do.
The Freak or something, I think it's called. What's going on, Big Wrist? How you doing, buddy? And it's Nick J saying not limited. And Rick is saying the demand far exceeds any reasonable supply they could produce, which makes sense because it's a supply and demand thing as usual. And a lot of people want it, of course.
So what do you think?
And
the gray market will pick up a bunch of them and then up the price?
Oh yeah, totally.
Most definitely.
Yeah, they definitely do that. They may buy up a whole bunch, whatever they can get their hands on, and end up, you know, selling 10, 15 at a time because they've got the funds to do that. Those guys do. I won't mention any names, but we know who I'm talking about.
Who are you talking about?
Just keep your eye on Chrono 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think Tim Nosset was doing a live stream about it just as the same day it was announced, that evening, and I think I think he had the opinion, save up your money and wait for it and get a 321 in steel. Get the new Ed White.
That's going to be hard to get too. I mean, you know, they're very, very different watches, and you know, people will like them for different reasons, but it seems to be the new reality for Omega that the hot releases are going to be hard to get unless you have that, you know, quote unquote AD relationship.
Okay. Watch Doctor says he was told he'll get one by the end of the year from his boutique. The 80s should get them in 2021, and he's in South Florida. Then Ken Spears checking. Hey, how you doing, bud? Ken Spears checking in from Pittsburgh. And Rick is saying, let's see, he's saying they'll be on Chrono 24 for 20 to 25. I could see that speculation being right. At least probably close to 20, I would say.
In the very beginning, there's always a fishing expedition to see if you can get some people to overpay. Yeah. I
mean, look at even Timex did that with the little Q. Well, it wasn't Timex, but it was secondhand people were selling them for what, $300-$400 at the time when they first came out, and were sold out. Yeah. And that's just a little Timex.
And they went straight to eBay for like 3 times the price. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the new no date sub, just black steel no date, which isn't going to be that hard to get, immediately went on sale for $20,000. Right away.
Oh, wow.
And then they've been kind of quickly dropping those prices as they don't sell that well. But a few people probably bit right off the bat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I always say, if you can, just don't pay over retail, because you just be patient and you'll eventually get the watch that you want, you know. Rick on watches is saying 321 is going to be even harder to get.
And he's on the list.
Watch Doctor saying, yeah. Let's see. Watch Doctor is saying, let me highlight that comment. Sorry. My computer's not wanting to cooperate. He said, Watch Doctor saying he put his deposit 2 weeks ago from his boutique when they asked me. And have a good night, Watch Doctor. And then, let's see. Jeb is saying one is 10 and the other is 4K more. The one that's 4K more is what, the 321?
Right. The new Ed White.
Okay. And that looks closer to the Speedies that they have out now, right?
It does.
Okay, cool. Cool. So that's similar to the 321 that you have, right, Clyde? The older one? The vintage one?
Right. Now I've got the 105.012-66, but it was actually made in 67, but it's 42 millimeters. The Ed White's an earlier edition that they were still towards the end of its product run, and I think it was 39 millimeters.
Okay.
And of course, Ed White named for the American hero that died during the Apollo 1 tragedy.
Yeah. And then Rick's saying he'll get both. He's on the list for the Snoopy and the 321.
Rick, you said you're going to shrink your collection to 25 watches, but I keep hearing about watches that are incoming.
No, he means 25. No, he means 25 pounds of watches.
Suedo scientist going on will have something to do with the hype.
Now, actually, it's kind of neat. I found out that Sovereign actually has the same one. So, Wonder Twin Powers activate.
There you go. And then Watch Doctor said he declined the Ed White. He loves the watch, but there's something about owning the vintage Ed White, which is about the same price as well. Would you recommend, Clyde, going vintage over the new one? Sorry, Eamon.
No problem.
Here's the thing, of course. Mine is kind of a safe queen. So, and what happened to it is somewhere way back in the distant past, it's got the hollow end links, and someone dented the top end link, and they said, threw it in the door and forgot about it.
So you think the more modern one would be better to wear?
Yeah, because here, source. I took it to the mall and I got the end link. They popped it out for like tried to be $5. Jeez, But the thing is also the new ones have ceramic bezels, and I am just so protective of that 321 because aluminum bezel. If you scratch that thing, if it takes out that that dot over the 90, that's like a $4,000 boo-boo.
Yeah. And then what were you saying, Amin? Sorry about that.
Oh, I just think that's an interesting question. In a lot of cases, there are so many modern reissues of classic watches from many brands, and oftentimes the prices are similar between the original and the reissue, and it's just an interesting question whether you want that original one. Marcus, who's on our stream, is getting the Ed White because he's getting it as he gets a new job, and he wants to make his own history with it instead of getting a watch that comes with someone else's history. But I think there's so many things to say for the original vintage one and for going reissue, and I always have a hard time choosing between those two.
Okay. Now, I will point out a very obvious exception, and that's the original Navitimer.
Okay.
The 806 1959, that was a crappy design. Great looking watch, classic looking watch, but they only made the original design for a couple of years, and they held it back and had to redo everything because they had a nasty habit of the bezels just popping off and flying into space.
And see, that's the case where a lot of your modern pieces are going to be better to wear nowadays because they can take a lot more. They can take a lot more bashing being around than the older pieces can.
And the reedition has all the looks, all the aesthetics of the original. I mean, some people hate on the fake patina, and I understand that. But as someone who had the original, it doesn't hold a candle to the reedition. And actually, I think the 806 19. If you look around, find one secondhand, find a good price on one, jump on that sucker. And I even think the movement that's in there now is an improvement upon the original. the original one, Venus or Valgio 806.
Orange Hand makes a pretty good point. He said no one seems to be hot for the Tokyo 2020 Speedmasters, overshadowed by all the new releases. You think that might be a decent one to get and hold on to?
Possibly.
Because a lot of the older ones do better, don't they? Don't they have, like with some of the older from, weren't they back in the day? The Tokyo one, I thought.
True. And Rico once just said the original Ed White's an awesome piece, and also the later ones are also awesome pieces.
And then Watch Doctor saying the vintage Ed White, which is 105.003, having a straight lug, pre-professional Don 90 Speedy with a plaid logo in good condition, is wearing literal history. That's true.
Well, I think you could say the same thing of any pre-moon Speedy, but yeah, probably the Ed White is probably like half notch ahead or higher, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
I've actually had my eyes on the, believe it or not, the Speedy reduced lately. I know you probably think I'm crazy, but
it's like the skim milk of Speedies. Yeah, it's technically a Speedy, but
or just try it on first.
Yeah. It's almost kind of like going with a 38 millimeter block pawn, right? 50 fathoms instead of the 42.
Right.
A lot of people talk about the service price being astronomical with the reduced.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. What's the movement in the reduced again?
It's a Dubois de Praz module on a on a ETA.
No.
So they say that the repair can cost as much as the watch, which
yeah. And that would be one thing that would stop.
That's a little scary. Yeah.
All right, buying one. Yeah. I mean, you can buy another watch with that. And then Watch Doctor saying he agrees. Clyve, any pre-moon Speedy with a C321 movement is a wonderful watch to purchase, from the 2915 to the 145.012s.
Agreed. And and even I think even if you get a transitional, I think that's might be the best of both worlds, because you have all the looks and the aesthetics. But it's a lot easier to keep that thing up, though. The 860.
And Orange Hand saying the modular automatic movement is reduced. Reduced is the killer.
Yeah.
What's going on, Flippin'? Hey, Flippin', I posted a link up there earlier if you want to join in the chat.
Watch Doctor's Snoopy is going to be his third. He's got a whole Snoopy Speedy collection.
Nice.
Nice. Do you have any Speedies, Amin?
No. I had a Hesselite Moonwatch, but I flipped it. That's the only Speedy I've owned. And I've worn my brother's what do you call it? I'm blanking now. It's sort of a pre-moon reedition, but what is it called? I'm a little sleep deprived here.
But yeah, do you guys think that the 321 and everything will make the prices of the regular, like the one you just mentioned, the regular Speedies go up? The ones that were like 4,000, you can pick them up gray market for like $4.5 for years there.
I don't think they'll go up that much, but I don't know. I don't pay too much. I was thinking First Omega in Space. That's one I've worn quite a bit. That and the Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch. But I don't think so. But I guess it's hard to predict those things. I think they're going to replace the current Moonwatch. That's everybody's saying that.
With the 3861 movement, and it'll be hacking.
So, and coaxial, right? So whether that drives prices up, I mean, I'm sure the price for that will be higher.
I'm not sure it's coaxial.
It's not coaxial?
Well, I know it's Meta certified.
These guys can correct us.
Yeah, and Rick,
Rick or Watch Doctor probably know. Sorry, Clyde, what were you saying?
Yeah, and I kind of thought all the coaxials I'm not aware of that many, or maybe not any actual manual wind coaxial.
I thought the 3861 was coaxial.
All right.
Let's see. I'll look it up.
To the internets.
Or Watch Doctor can tell us.
And then Rick's saying there's tons of speedies out there, which he's right. There's probably as many speedies out there as there are like Seiko SKXs. Even though they've been discontinued, there's probably hundreds of thousands of them out there.
All right.
Yeah, 3861's coaxial escapement. At least that's what the internet is telling me.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what Watchbox is. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Nice.
But
I wonder how much thicker the watch is going to be. Well, actually, if it's still manual wind, it shouldn't be that bad.
They've had a couple now, so I don't know how thick they are, or so they don't list a thickness for this new Snoopy, which has the same movement, right?
Yeah. But half the time, like I said, the coaxials, I had, like a recent edition Aquaterra, and I love the watch, but the only thing I hated about it, it had the coaxial on an automatic, and to me, it was just a little chunky.
I have one of those now, but I'm actually looking to sell it on. Some of the Omega watches are thicker than some equivalents from other companies, and people say it's the coaxial, but the actual movement is not thicker. For example, the Diver 300 meter Seamaster Professional has a thinner movement than a Submariner movement, but the watch is thicker, and everybody says it's because of the coaxial, but the movement's thinner. So at least partially, it's probably because of the display case back.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Aquaterra has a display case back, and it's a nice looking movement. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it really merits a case back display.
I'm a little bit biased. I like to see display case backs on almost everything. Maybe not something that's super low end, but medium, I like to see a display case back.
Either the watch itself needs to be really interested and intricate to where it captures the attention, or there needs to be enough detail, engraving on the movement. One of the two, in my opinion. I mean, to me, the two major sins is to, number one, not display a movement that deserves it, and number two is to display a movement that doesn't deserve it.
I gotcha.
See, for me, so Rolex is the obvious example of the one that doesn't use them on hardly any of their watches, and I feel like they get a pass for that. Whereas with other companies of similarly priced watches, it would be a con. And you could say that the Rolex movements, while perfectly nice looking, don't deserve it, or that they're tool watches, but nobody actually buys them just as tool watches. People do like the fact that they're dressy. People do like the fact that they're a bit showy. So they shouldn't get a pass. They should make the movement something that they're proud to show through a display case back, and then put a display case back on there.
Just like the El Primero I had a while back, the 38 mil. I mean, that's a great movement to look at.
Like a 50 fathoms, right? It's a showy dive watch, and they put a beautiful movement there with really nice finishing.
They're not tool watches, but they still have a tool watch pedigree. So
they used to be tool watches.
Right.
Like now an Apple Watch is a tool watch. Maybe a Zin, but not a Rolex. You could use it that way, but then why is it fancy looking? Why is it
blinged up?
Blinged up.
Yeah, they are so blinged up.
They are.
Well, and like I said, if the display case back makes them unnecessarily thicker,
I actually saw. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I actually saw a video today where I forget what YouTuber it was. It's not a big watch guy, I don't think, but he actually got one of those coral red 41 OPs, and he was saying in a lot of light they look kind of red orange. Not to change the subject, but we're talking about like Rolex as being kind of showy. And that was kind of like a really, really like it was like a bright, like watch.
I mean, he bought it. Is he happy with it?
Oh yeah, he seemed to be happy with it. He said that's the kind of watch that he likes. So, I mean,
So
to each his own.
I'm looking for the yellow dial, but I don't know what kind of yellow it's going to be. So, just have to wait and see.
Hadn't seen one in person yet.
No, they had the green. They had the racing green, which was beautiful. And they just seem now what they had in the back room I don't know, because they wouldn't put it in the case. They called me up and I went over there and they brought it out from the back, and they don't ship in those green boxes. They ship in like little iPhone styrofoam things. I mean, not iPhone, but they're just styrofoam packaging. So he took it right out of the package and showed me, and I made a joke like, I think, well, you got a no date sub in the back, and he didn't think it was funny, so I just let it go.
Yeah.
You just have to be polite. Actually, and they get to do what they want, so it's like I'm not gonna. Yeah. I was just thankful he called me over.
I just sent you the link to that, Clyde, that video I watched earlier, by the way.
All right, and you can also post on the private chat part as well.
Yeah.
I have seen the yellow. It is very yellow.
That's what I want. Not mustard yellow, but like Ferrari yellow.
Yeah.
I gotta have it. I'll get it somehow.
What does Ferrari call is it fly yellow?
I was going to say Toyota racing yellow.
We'll see. I mean, you never know. I mean, if you see one or something else, just whatever they have. It's really basically what's in stock. I got a short list. If it's in stock, I have to get it.
So what is your short list?
Obviously the Kermit, but that's going to be, they're going to have a list. But the Explorer, I think, the no date sub, and of course the yellow OP. So the first one that comes up, and then I got to stay away from the ADs because I'm not getting another one, for another year.
Right. But on the other hand, go up there and
what about you, man? What's on your short list?
I was just thinking about that. The idea of, I think that idea is very interesting. That what's next in your collection is going to be dependent on which of those is in stock next. Yeah, you have to, because if you zero in on one watch, and if you go in there and they have one of the other ones that would certainly look good, you're just limiting yourself. So I look as a strategy. It's Rolex. Okay, this is how they do things. It doesn't do any sense. It doesn't make any sense to complain on how they do it. Like he didn't have to tell me what's in the back. And he's the second guy that I went to another store, another AD, and I was looking at the date just, and I told him I like the sticks. I don't like the other things, the Roman numerals. And he says, "Oh, you know what? I think I may have one in the safe." And it's like, I'm thinking, what else is in that safe? So I didn't want to see it, but you have to chat them up. You don't have to. No, I hear you. It's very practical. Makes a lot of sense. It's just unromantic to me, A watch should not be romantic. Come on. Yeah. I mean, I have this idea, you go out searching for a rare watch, something that's uncommon. Certainly if you're thinking of vintage, right? Looking for something that's uncommon, and you go and search for it. And being able to get one of these newer hot watches out of an AD is sort of like that, right? Your chances maybe low success, and it's sort of an achievement to get one out of them, but it's not the same romantic ideal as like finding that watch that you've been searching for in vintage.
Well, yeah, but I don't buy vintage, so I don't.
Yeah, I hear you totally.
But I just thought I was there on a Thursday and chatted them up, and then I got a call Monday, and I'm looking at my phone. I go, Rolex, and they said we got a green. Come on over, and I went because I did want to see a 41, regardless of the color. And but I don't know. I'll stay with it, But just he says between now and the end of the year, and I joked around about that no date sub. I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "If anybody doesn't take the no date sub," and he laughed. Like nobody's not gonna not take it. So, but it was interesting, and just be friendly, and they got my contact information.
Yeah.
But back to the Speedy, if there's this real, and I'm not really into Omega Speedies, but if there's such a big demand for this thing, let them buy them all up, because there's going to be a percentage of people who are just going to fall out of love with it, and it's going to be on the market. A lot of them will be back on the market.
Or I think a lot of, especially the new model, the Silver Snoopy, a lot of them are going to be immediately on the market just for a quick flip.
Yeah, and if they sell, great. If they don't, then you just wait till the prices come down.
I think that's going to be the type of watch where some will immediately be sold by ADs to the gray market for above retail. And they'll profit on that, just like what we're seeing with the Rolexes.
I don't know if they can get away with that. The Rolex AD, I don't know.
There's what's his name? There's a gray market dealer who with a YouTube channel who talks openly about buying them from Rolex ADs at above retail.
Oh,
we're not going to say who he is, but his initials are Roman Scharf.
Exactly. It's not a secret. He's making it very clear.
Well, I can't imagine there's how many? How many can get away with that?
He's made 2 videos in a row about it. I think it makes perfect sense, because immediately we saw Kermit's on for 30 grand on Chrono 24 right away. That's not. It happened too fast to be people changing their mind about or people.
Well, it's not so much that, but like you say, I'm not a romantic about it. So if I go in there and I see a Kermit, I know there's just like a lottery ticket. You just have to buy it because you can sell it for more.
But you burn if you're a regular person doing that, you burn your relationship with that AD. But if the AD has a very trusted gray market person that they know can handle it the right way, then they're actually taking less of a risk to go that backdoor route than they are with you.
Because at least the reseller, at least this gray market guy is not going to be dumb and put the identifying information out on the internet.
That's true, and then the Rolex serial number, so they can track it anywhere.
Right.
I mean, if Rolex wanted to go out of their way to bust people doing that, they could easily buy the first 3 ones that pop up on Chrono 24 and then very publicly make an example out of those ADs.
Oh, it's string them up. Yeah.
They're not interested in that. They don't lose from this game. Rolex is not hurt in any way by this.
Well, no, I've actually heard Rolex has done that before.
There's no chilling effect out there right now from what I can see.
And I do think the gray market serves a purpose. I mean, I bought my OP39 on the gray market. Nobody wanted it, but it served a market. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I found it online, and it wasn't a bad price.
And you have to admit, for the AP and for like everyone that they're given, every hot model that everyone's just lining up the door and salivating, they have several models that no one could really give a flip about.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I'm not bitter about any of that. I find it, interesting, a curiosity, but I have no issue with the gray market or ADs or Rolex involvement in any of those things.
I just want to learn the system, and I just want to kind of get what I want, get in there,
Yeah, if you could go back to the good old days where we could just walk in the AD and pick out whatever we wanted, right?
Well, I'm a little bit older, and I remember going in and looking at all these Submariners, and they never did it for me.
See, I think Rick is saying, if I won't flip, my AD relationship is sacrosanct. I think that is I understand that, right? So of course he wouldn't go in and buy a Kermit and then flip it right away. But if he buys one, he's got this amazing collection, and 2-3 years later, he's like, I don't really want this anymore, right? Why should his AD should totally respect his decision at that point.
Correct. And that's not a watch. That's not a flip. That's not a flip. If you hang on to it for 3 years,
or even a year later. I mean, you look at Rick's collection. It's an incredible collection. If he decides it doesn't quite fit in there anymore, he shouldn't have to bat an eyelash about what his AD is going to think about that.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah, he owns the watch.
Yeah. I mean, his AD should know that he's not buying to flip, and that's the end of that question.
But that one AD who had something, had it in the safe, I think he's aware, because I was there like before they opened, and I was getting, like I was the first one in, and I think they're watching for guys for that too. I believe, and but I say, hey, I'm a local, and how are you, and where I'm looking at what I like, what I don't like, and but when he said I have one in the safe, I may have that in the safe, I'm thinking, what else is in that safe?
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
I mean, after like the third or go ahead, Lex.
It's part of the fun. It's part of the hunt. I mean, you're out there hunting it down, trying to find it.
I was talking to someone, and this guy has a collection. I mean, well, okay, it's not quite Rick great, but it's pretty damned impressive. And he is pissed because his AD is just trying to give him a runaround on the Cermet.
Really? Wow.
And here, okay, you want to talk about, this is what I'm kind of thinking, what the best revenge would be? Well, I'm telling the guys, you could go to your AD and say, listen here, motherfucker. I will go, I swear to God, I will put up half my collection on sale, and I will put the cards on display.
We're losing your sound there, Clyde.
Yeah, I thought it was my Mac Mini going.
No, and we will. And sorry, it's holding my. It helps when you don't hold your hand in front of the microphone. And I will put the cards on display. So
I don't know if you can.
I don't think it would work. That guy just has to get there's a bigger fish than that guy, or maybe there's a bigger AD than that guy's AD.
And I believe what they're telling me. They say we don't know when it's coming. We don't know. They get it any day of the week. It can be 1 or 2 pieces, 2 or 3 pieces, and that's it. And they don't know. They don't know when it arrives. And when I went in there, I think a year ago, I said, "Oh, you must get a lot of calls or a lot of demand." Oh, she says, "Well, we don't do online shipping, but we get calls all over the world. They call up the store. They want them to ship them, but they don't do that."
See, Rick? Yeah, I think that would work. I mean, because, and I have it a good authority that actually Rolex has like a little miniature, it's like the NSA, and they scour the internet. They look and they try to find recent watches being sold to see if they can track down the client and the AD. That's transgressing.
Might be.
Well, and again, someone, and I'll try to keep it anonymous. Let's just call him, for sake of argument, Han Danes. He has, he's had a relationship with the dealer in Connecticut. I'm not gonna say it is, but it's an Italian name. But it rhymes with confettis. But he has sent. He has referred so many people to this jeweler, and he also referred a local colleague of his, also in the financial industry. This guy just went on a hot buying streak, and confettis, thought that was great. So he bought so many watches that that magically, lo and behold, a steel Daytona appeared. this colleague of his then took the watch, and immediately just almost took it straight out and tried to sell it himself for maximum profit. Rolex got a whole. Basically, he didn't try to disguise who the card identifying information. Rolex was literally up this AD's arse, threatening to pull their license.
Intrigue, the Rolex intrigue.
Yep. I mean, if you've got a good relationship, or think you can get a good relationship with your dealer with an AD, that's fine. But might be time to move on to another brand.
I got to ask you though on that Kermit, aesthetically, for it's the girl everybody can't have, but aesthetically, do you think it's that good looking? Do you think it's that? Because if I see one, I'm going to get it. Not because I'm in love with it, but it's just like I say, it's like a lottery.
Well, it's like finding a drunk supermodel at the bar.
Yeah, what are you going to do? When she's a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Well,
I'm going to have to take her home. Take her home.
Yeah, she wants to have company for dinner.
First of all, I don't think it's very good looking. But second, everyone I have seen who says that they would buy it because they would have to because it's such an easy flip for profit. None of them would actually do it because they're all too scared of their AD.
Well, no, I'm not saying I would flip it immediately. I'm not, I wouldn't flip it immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, just wouldn't flip it because there's a time on that. But, I got to hold it for a year and then sell it. But it's like, there it is. It's what do they retail for? Like $950?
Yeah,
9,500,
9,550, I think. Plus,
yeah, and it's like you can get under 10,000, and you're going to say, "Oh no, thanks." If you got the money, you're almost like I say, it's like here's a lottery ticket for 18,000. We're selling it for under 10.
It seems like people are still afraid a couple of years later that their golden Rolex ticket is gonna
not
away.
After a year. Not after a year. I don't think so. Not after a year. Now, if they saw it that week or that month on Chrono 24, private seller, no, that would be a problem. But after a year, I don't think they care after a year.
Jed's saying it's the LV sub. The new sub is a winner. Perfect. LV is getting to take her home.
Well, see, that's my fear because if I see it, I got to buy it, and then I'm not getting any more Rolexes for that for a time. I'd rather see a no date sub, but because I would keep that.
Rick, if you're not crazy about that Hulk, you can lend it to me. I'll take good care of it for you, Rick.
Well, in a way though,
Kermit. Go ahead, Clyve.
Because everyone loves the sure thing. Well, in a way though, it's kind of making flippers or tempting us to go in that direction. All of us, which is the insane part of it.
Well, Rolex, they're not increasing the supply. So what's a guy to do? They set up the game.
They got a ton of watches in the gray market. It's enough supply to overload the gray market.
Yeah, they don't have to flood the market. All they have to do is depress the market.
I've purchased both my Rolexes on the gray market, and I don't have a problem. But I'm not going to pay such. I'm not going that high. I'm not going that high.
Well, it depends. The sermon, of course. Well, even the freaking OP41s are going for insane money right now, and those aren't exactly So
those will come down.
They'll come down eventually because they all go. Sorry, we're crazy money.
I don't know about that because it's a novelty watch, so that's a limited run, right? I mean, even Rolex calls it a novelty. And if one really gets that aura about it, then who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, but I think there will be some period, some time, even transient, where they sell for less than they're selling right now in the secondary market, and then maybe they'll go up again. But they come out hot.
Yeah, always.
What's going on, Design Atelier? I posted posted a link earlier in the chat, guys, if you want to join in and design.
But eventually, but especially for the money that they're going for on the secondary market, no, hell no.
Well, yeah. I mean, I put my Explorer 2, Polar on the market. I didn't get even close to what I was thinking I could maybe get. So I just pulled the ad. So, it's what the market is, what somebody's willing to pay for it. And Chrono 24, if it's still on there, it hasn't sold. So,
well, just wait a little bit. Wait for the last vestiges of Minotaur stench to leave that watch reference, and they'll start going up. It hasn't been long.
But I can buy all the G-Shocks I want.
Yeah.
Right.
G-Shocks are fun little watches.
I'm telling you, I am so impressed with them. I had them downstairs against the wall, and I had to run upstairs to get them updated for the atomic clock. Then I moved them on the table downstairs. They all update now overnight. And I have the app is only good for one phone. So let's say if you have 6, you got to link them to the phone, but you also have to unlink it from the watch. So you're not going to be doing that. So I just set them out there. They update in the morning. I think that's so cool. There is no service. I mean, and they're just great watches, and they're highly accurate, and they update every night. Solar power. Don't have to worry about a battery. And then I've got that MRG titanium. That's a beautiful watch. It's a great watch.
Yeah, one of my daily wears is that all metal, the 35th anniversary edition one. I wear that one all the time.
I can't go with the square. I remember those squares back in the 70s. I can't do it.
Rick's asking what's the one G-Shock
Rick, the one you should buy in your category, in your special stratospheric category, an MRG. Just go for the one that appeals to you, but that's the top of the line. MRG.
Is that the one? The one that's like $8,000?
Well, no, that's a category of, and they come up with different stuff all the time. And so I try not to look at them. And they got there's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into them. And they have their own assembly line, believe it or not, in the shape of a G. So they, it starts at one end, it goes all the way around. It's a handmade. There's another debate: is it handmade or automated? But they're beautiful.
I like the blue camo titanium one, but I can't see myself paying around $1,300 for G-Shock though.
No, I bought the diver. I got the blue and yellow diver, analog diver, the first analog, but that's a big watch. But they're very light. I'll get that up here on the next broadcast.
Jed said a couple have done that. Just one more watch was one I think they're talking about. The conversion kits for the Casios. But you're not a big fan of the G-Shocks, are you, Clyve?
No, not really. And I've also tried to watch just one more watch, but his accent throws me off. It's like he's a German Jimmy Durante.
Well, I wasn't either. And then I bought like the very low end, the what is it, M500, just for working out. And then I started messing around with it, and then it, because I'm kind of techie anyway, so it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. And like you can put, any time zone in the world. Now, the MRG I got linked to my iPhone, so I update it that way. And then I use it. I used to have them downstairs, so when I'm watching TV, I can look over there, and it's art. Romantic. There's a art in the watch itself, the engineering and the design. It's something that touches you. And I just look over there, and it's like, oh, cool,
Yeah.
What about you, man? I can't remember. Do you have any G-Shocks?
I haven't really found one yet that suits me. I had one as a kid in elementary school, a square, and a couple of years ago I bought a square from nostalgia, and partially because everybody always says everyone needs a G-Shock or every collection should have a G-Shock, and I didn't really, get on with it too well. But I keep my eye out for G-Shocks. Maybe one will come that's the right one for me.
Yeah, my criteria was I got to have that. I got to have a round. I got to have sapphire. I got to have markers, and I got to have hands. And this one, the one I got up there, fits it. Now that's like a mid-level. It's an MTG. But they're fun. They're fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't count on my hands how many I've had. I've had numerous different ones. Sold them, got rid of them. Whatever else, I probably had at least 10, 15 different G-Shocks though. And Jeb's saying Combat Straps does Apple Watch straps. He's just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I can never go with Apple Watch. I just can't do it.
He said he'd buy Apple Watch straps, but never watch. So what?
Apple Watch is also linked to the phone. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to have a phone, right, to have the Apple Watch?
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
The new one you don't.
Okay.
Up until the newest one you did.
Yeah, and I said I'd never get a G-Shock, so I better be careful.
That's one I've never bought yet is an Apple Watch.
I've gotten a couple Apple Watches and they lasted less long than my G-Shock.
Really?
They're sitting in my son's drawer.
Man,
they're a tool.
That's one thing about
G-Shock. If you want to use them for fitness, or if you want to use them for sleep, monitor sleep or fitness or heart rate or those sorts of things. But I always wanted to wear a regular watch, and I think it looks pretty silly when you wear a regular watch and an Apple Watch. I know a lot of people do it, but
they wear both. Me. They wear both.
Yeah, a lot of people wear both.
I call it Schwarzkopfing.
That's a little strange.
I think it looks kind of strange.
I mean, I go for these. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead, guys. Sorry, I was just going to say Design Atelier is saying that Mr. G hand-carved bezels were made by Samurai Smiths. I didn't know that.
No, I'm telling you, this thing, when you look at, when I get the MRG up there, it looks, the bezel is dark, but that's titanium. They have their own special process for it. And it's very light, and it's a gorgeous watch. I think I paid $2,000 for it. But they can go up to 10, different depending on the model.
And then Jeb's saying 3 buttons to delete a message. That's what killed the Apple Watch for me.
Yeah, I'm into Apple. I got the Max and I got the iPhone, but I'm just this watch nonsense. I can't go there.
Pseudo scientist said that he's noticed the horology crowd seems to like Apple Watches, yet Discords. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the Apple Watch, but I do actually like quartz watches. I mean, it's either or, I guess. I don't really dislike a lot of different stuff.
And I go to, the gym is closed now. Well, it's open, but I don't want to go over there because of the COVID. But when I went over there, you'd see 3 guys sitting on machines, and all they're doing is playing around with their phone or their watch. It's like, well, I mean, you get over there and get your heart rate up. What the watch is not giving you fitness. It's monitoring. It's giving you data, but it's not. There's no fitness there.
And Jeb's saying he likes super quartz. The emergency was a Breitling emergency he's talking about. It's pretty cool. It costs a lot. I believe Dane, Celine drivers, bought one of those Breitling emergencies. I think that was a long time grail of his. I actually like the what is it? The Evo, the Breitling Evo X or whatever it is, the titanium one. I think those were pretty cool watches.
And yeah, Design Atelier. I feel the same way. That's the big shortcoming.
I'd have to agree with that. That would probably get on my nerves too.
Well, I'm gonna be shopping for an MRG now for Rick. I'm gonna find one for Rick.
There you go. Rick says, "Who cares? One watch is another fitness text phone, not really a watch."
I tell you, I go on my walks on the morning, and there's the same guy. He will not take his eyes off his phone. he texts and walks at the same time. And I said good morning to him, and I got a good morning back one time, but he is so, I'm thinking this guy's going to get hit by a car. He doesn't have any reflective gear on or anything else, and the sidewalk is windy, and it's a drop off, but it's like, it's really strange. It's like I'm looking at him, and he cannot put the phone down.
Also, cards.
Say what, Clyve?
Lexter, I'll send you some cards.
Cards?
Cards.
Yeah.
Then I saw a guy with
a watch. Oh, go ahead.
I walk before the sun comes up, and you see some strange things here in Las Vegas. But I saw a guy with the biggest Rottweiler I have ever seen in my life, and it wasn't one of those overweight ones. This thing was all muscle, and you got to be careful with these dogs because they're really monitoring their master to get, okay, what do I do? Do I go after this guy? Is he friend or foe? You know, you can see, like the German Shepherds, they see me and they alert. They're like zeroed in on me, and it's all up to the master. If he raises his voice, that I'm toast. But this Rottweiler was all muscle. And it was athletic. I would have no chance. No chance. So I had to compliment the guy. You know, oh, that's a good-looking dog. That's a great dog. Oh, thank you. Yeah, get me home. Get me out of here.
Well, I remember going out and walking my little wiener dog, and first either before breakfast or after dinner. Of course, the wife said, I could mark out your progress, but I was just hearing the other dogs in the neighborhood bark. It's just different dogs from different distances away.
Oh yeah.
But there's one towards the end. You'd come up, and there's like two Great Danes and like a steel fence, chain link fence that came about waist high.
Oh.
They didn't bark.
They just look at you.
Yeah.
It's
we don't have to bark. We don't know if we want to. We could easily clear this fence and take out you and your little Wiener dog.
We get you on the ground, you don't get up.
Suedo scientist is saying a watch with a lot of complications is affordable for a fellow like me in a quartz version. I'm actually wearing the little Casio World Timer. That would sounds like that would probably be good. For $30, you can't beat those watches.
I got some great reflective gear, and the one I recommend if you're going to do that, because I walk on the street, is the 24/7 Viz, V-I-Z. They got some great vests, very like $20. And then they got some ankle wrists, but they're so big. For the wrist bands, I put them on my ankles. And when the cars come up, they put their brights on, and I just light up. But
do you match your watch to your dog, or which dog after the watch?
I do match my watch with my outfit. I have a different outfit every week. I do that. Even same with the gym, with the Seikos. I got a black watch, and then I got a blue watch. So it just depends.
How many dogs do you have?
Who, me? I don't have any dogs.
Yeah, I guess that's what.
Not in the city. Not in the city. Las Vegas, and it's the heat. I think it's kind of cruel. The bigger dogs.
Oh, man, you've got a dog, don't you?
I have a Westie, small dog. Turned one this week.
I don't have any pets. I usually have to go over to my parents and babysit there. They've got a Cocker Spaniel. He's getting up there though. He's turning 12 soon, actually. So I guess you can consider him my dog too.
That's good. They have a babysitter. We could use a dog babysitter.
But I always, when I pass somebody with the dog, I always say good morning to the owner, because the dog is listening to the owner's voice. And it's like, oh, he's not panicked. Okay, this is okay. And those shepherds, man, they just look at you. They just they have their bead on you. And it's like, I don't need that.
Definitely. Well, guys, we're hitting over an hour here now. You guys about ready to call it a night?
Yeah, I hate to say it, I'm fading fast.
I was gonna say I'm 4 o'clock. Probably about ready to go to bed.
So, I'm gonna turn into.
You guys are ready to call it night.
Call it night.
Guys. Appreciate you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate everybody for. No problem.
Well,
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
You're going to turn into
yes,
what?
Sir.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thanks for coming on in the comments, everybody. Chimed in. We'll see you guys next time.